What up, peoples? Welcome to the second episode of DIA, or Dudes in Asia. This is David Hayter.
And this is Noogie.
So, on this lovely Tuesday night in October, first we're going to have a short interview with each other, and then after, we'll talk about some of the difficulties we faced when we first came to Asia. So yeah, man, it's October 9th. The month's moving along. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. What about you, man?
Not too bad. This time of the school year in Japan is always like the most busy. There's like a lot of events and stuff. So it's a busy time, but it's a fun time, you know?
Yeah, I think you're lucky to at least work in the education system. You can notice all like the events of life.
Yeah.
You know?
It's nice.
Exactly. Over here, not too much.
Yeah, another day in
I
the
mean, we
office.
celebrate like Halloween. I mean, it's still another day in the office, but yeah, like, oh, there's the decorations, but it's not the same where like there's actually activities, you know?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure, man. All right, so let's do this short interview. Try to keep it to a couple of minutes or so. I'll keep my eye on the timer. I'll let you know when time's up.
All right.
All right. So, man, right now, what do you think is the best thing about living in Saigon, like living in Vietnam?
Okay. Saigon is, I guess, because it's like a metropolitan city, you got everything you kind of need. And then living in Vietnam in general is, I think, as you know, is like the pricing of everything.
Yeah.
You know, it's just cheap. You know,
Yep.
you have a good. I mean, like some things more expensive if you want to buy a car, but if you just want to drink and eat, dude, Vietnam is like one of the best spots, man.
Yeah, for real. Well, and like if you think about it, right? Like you wouldn't even really want a car. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you want a motorbike.
Yeah. Well, like think about how much it would cost to buy a car out there, and think of like how much it would cost to just take taxis everywhere.
Yeah.
Like it's probably cheaper just to have the taxis every day, right?
Maybe
I don't know.
that's a tough one. I don't know much. Yeah, but even then, like I think the insurance and the gas pricing, it probably still equals out to being cheaper
You know.
to get like a taxi or something.
Well, I don't know how much it would cost to repair it and stuff too, like all the maintenance.
That's true. Yep.
You know, just like yes, just do drive carefully now. I hate all of these scooters around me. And you get a private driver too, you know.
Yeah. So I think that'd probably be the top things you think, like just the cheap things about Vietnam so far.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to think about Japan, dude. I think probably the best thing about living in Japan has to be just like the safety, you know? Like it's
I bet.
yeah,
I bet.
it's pretty chill. You know what I mean? Like things cost a little more, but you know, it's like sometimes it was crazy. Like I went out drinking one day, and you know that happens out here. And then I came home, you know, and I just passed out, and I woke up in the morning, and I'm just like, oh, there's like half of my key there. I'm like, oh crap. I'm like, where's the other half? I'm like, it's in the door, you know, 'cause it's like a key card. I was like,
Yeah.
damn it. Yeah, but I was like, you know, if any other country, I'd be freaking out. I'm just like, I'll just go about my day. I'll deal with this later. Just like leave the door unlocked all day, nothing happened, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think to some degree, there's some pretty good safe areas in Vietnam based on my experience. Because I've also like District 7 is like one of those like nicer areas of like Ho Chi Minh City.
Yeah.
And there are times where I forgot to close the door, the gated door.
Oh yeah.
Nothing's ever happened.
Yeah. You know,
but I've heard so many horror stories in general about Vietnamese and theft. So I was like, you know what? You know, that was just a lucky situation from my end.
Yeah, and I think too, like when I think about drinking in Japan and like drinking culture, like as you know, I spent a few years as a security guard, you know, like working in like bars, nightclubs. Like my first gig was like Oktoberfest in Huntington Beach over at the Old World. And man, there'd be like at least like 1, 2, 3, like 4 or 5 fights in a night, you know what I mean? Like people get drunk and then they want to break stuff, they want to start fighting each other. I'm like, man, just chill out, dude. Like, you know, you go out here, everybody's like, hey, drink more beer. I'm like, all right, thank you. Let's enjoy.
Is that Is that just more of an American aggressive thing? Do you think?
I think so, man. Like, I haven't, traveled
I've
the
seen
world,
some of, yeah, I've seen
you
some of
know.
that here, but it's like obviously very, very rare.
Yeah, very
You
rare,
know, I'm
you
pretty
know.
sure Japanese people also have just like one or two people you see every now and then. It's like, he just stirred up, but I'm pretty sure he's got a
Yeah.
story to get to that point.
Yeah, very
You
rare.
know?
It's usually like
Yeah,
when they're to the point of being like blackout drunk, and it's
yeah.
like they're not really aware of their actions. But even still, I'm trying to think, man. I don't think I've ever seen anybody try to fight anybody that was drunk in Japan. I've heard
That's
stories of it
crazy.
from other
Have you
people.
been have you been there for 4 years?
I have been here for 4 years, man. Like when I was a security guard, they're like, "Hey, Dave, fights over here. Come help break it up," and just start tossing drunk people around.
I
But
think I've seen about maybe 4 or 5 fights.
oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow. Dang, just off of drinking beer, man? Like, just got drunk and they started getting into it, or what?
yeah, yeah. I don't know the cause, but it's just, but they're at that level you're talking about. Little
Uh huh.
like close to like blacking out, like super belligerent, just like dude, chill out. But they can't even process that, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
So it's just like, yeah, it's just like, hey man, you're completely not in your body right now. So
yeah,
you know, that's just maybe just your primal instinct, just like let's rage.
yeah. Well, I think it probably has something to do, with image and like honor. And
Yep.
somebody's just like, you know what? Your scooter is shit. I'm stronger than you. He's like, what? No, no, man.
No,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
You
no,
know,
you're right,
I don't
man.
know.
It is about image.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you don't have a Mercedes? Must suck to be you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
Ooh, this is overextended than I expected.
Yeah, yeah. Not too bad. So, what do you think? Should we go from that, open it up to our next topic?
Yeah, let's just do it.
All right. So, yeah, I'll hit you with the first question then, man, because you came to Asia before me. We'll do this
Yeah.
one in chronological order.
Okay.
Stick with the history major. So, yeah, man, how was it, dude? Like, when you first came out to Vietnam, when you first moved to Asia, like, what kind of difficulties did you face? What kind of obstacles did you have to overcome?
um, right off the bat is obviously like the language barrier.
Hmm.
I am Vietnamese, but born and raised in America,
Yeah.
so my comprehension isn't as good as it should be if you just move to a country that only speaks that language.
Yeah,
But
that's
it
true.
was still enough to get by. Like
Uh-huh.
they couldn't rip me off. I couldn't get screwed over. But it was
Mm-hmm.
still like if I wanted to be like truly independent, if I wanted to do the paperwork to make my stay here more legal,
Yeah.
because when you stay here, you get to like go to the local like government district to say like, hey, I'm staying here for 2 months. Like every move you make, you're supposed to kind of declare it to the government, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But who has time for that? Who has any knowledge of that? Even if you go there, the paperwork is still in Vietnamese.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you were to like to be like completely just like I'm gonna do it by the book and by yourself, like almost impossible.
Yeah, good luck,
Um,
right?
yeah. So that was like one thing. So luckily, I had my girlfriend, who is now my
Mm-hmm.
wife, help me out for so many good things.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think the second thing is like driving.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're back home from America. There's a lot of structure. Over here is what they say is organized chaos.
Yeah,
It just works. It's crazy. It's hectic, but it's awesome.
yeah. Well, you know what? I've been to Vietnam. I'm starting to lose count of how many times. Like 4 or 5. I guess I'm just getting old. The memory's gone. But nah, man. Like I describe it to people like it looks crazy. How do you deal with it? I'm like, okay, there's just like some basic rules, right? So first is like don't get hit, you know,
Yep.
and next is like don't hit anybody.
Yep.
And the next one is when you see a truck coming, you get the hell out the way. That's all you need to
like
know. Don't mess with the
uh,
buses and the trucks.
and just naturally assume that everyone around you has no idea what they're doing either.
Oh yeah, that's
Like
the
you just have
fourth
to be
rule.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, like you just assume like, okay, I see this person in the left lane, but I can know he's just gonna swerve right out of nowhere. Like
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
expect that move, So don't assume anything. Just be on the lookout the whole time.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
then you'll be fine. You
Yeah.
know.
But it's just like a martial arts class, just you're defending yourself at all times and assume everybody's gonna try to kill you.
Yep.
you
Exactly.
know? Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And okay, I think honestly, on probably the next obstacle
Mm.
for me personally that I came out here was obviously like being away from your friends.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the thing that I didn't like too much about Vietnam, this is just my experience,
Mm-hmm.
was a lot of the people that I met used me as an English speaking
Okay.
tool. They
Yeah.
didn't look at me as a person or as a friend. They're just like, hey, let's kick it so I could practice my English.
Yeah.
Obviously not that direct, but once
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
around it, you kind of felt the vibe. It's like, dude, you don't even want to know me. You just want to just like practice your English.
Yeah.
And that became like really like, dude, this kind of sucks.
Yeah. And was that
But
more like in Kinto? You're in that smaller city, right?
yeah, that was in Kentucky. So obviously
Okay.
it's like could have been different. There's a bigger expat community out here,
Mm-hmm.
but I just wasn't social enough to kind of meet the right people to make it more enjoyable. But the other challenge that was stuck with that was I couldn't find an English speaking job, an English teaching job here because of my Asian appearance.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
It's like that negative racism and positive racism.
yeah, indeed.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
let's flip the flip the script on you, buddy. So, what obstacles did you encounter when you first moved to Asia or Japan, to be exact?
Yeah. I'm trying to think about it, man. For me, my situation was like a little different, because like you said, you grew up speaking the language, but like, it's like if you don't use the language to do like government business, then you don't know those words.
Yep.
Um, I studied, it was about like a year and a half in high school. My last semester in senior year, I was just like, hey, I don't need Japanese to graduate. I'm good. I just won't go anymore. Uh, yeah, and then I studied for about 4 years in college, and I did study abroad in what was it 2012 in the fall? Yeah, like 2012 to like 2013. So like I felt like I knew Japan pretty well. I knew the culture. I could speak the language well enough to have like a conversation. A lot of the Japanese that I learned was more like textbook Japanese, though. Like I could talk about like renewable energy and like international trade. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
somebody just say something super slang. I'm like, excuse me, sir, what do you mean by this? Like that's
Yeah.
probably what I'd sound like somebody
Yeah.
who like learned English, like, from England and then just shows
Yeah.
up in America like, good day, sir. I'm looking for some sailors. No. Play Shenmue if you haven't played it. But like I felt like I didn't have too many obstacles, but I feel like maybe the big one is kind of getting used to a lot of the manners in the Japanese workplace. And
Oh,
yeah, a
yeah.
lot of the rules like in society in general. Because when I came here the first time, like I said, I was in Chiba in a small town called Togane. Like maybe if you take a bus to Tokyo, it takes like an hour or two. Like it'd take like an hour or two to take the train to Tokyo. I don't exactly remember. But, it's like you had your little apartment, you like ride your bike to school. And like college in Japan is like very chill. Like people just be sleeping in the class. There's like this Chinese exchange student, like his phone rang. He like picked it up. He's like, yeah, hello? Okay, okay. Okay, see ya. And like hung up. Like he didn't even pick his head up. Like he just answered it, had a quick conversation, turned it off, and then just continued his nap. And the teacher like did not stop teaching. I was like, what the hell? Are you serious? So I was kind of used to that kickback environment. And then
Yeah.
when I came to work, they're just like, all right, so when you're on the train, like you got to enter in this way, and then you should stand here. Like don't stand here. When you come to the office, like when you get on the elevator, like you shouldn't have a conversation in the elevator. Like if somebody speaks to you, speak to them, but like you shouldn't be talking to each other, especially like Americans talking to each other in English, because other people might think that you're talking about them. It's like, okay. And they're like, yeah, so if somebody gets off the elevator, then you got to hold like the open button for them so they can get off. It's like, okay. Like somebody gets on the elevator, you got to ask them like, what floor do you want? Like, in Japanese, and like punch it for them. Like, all right.
If
like,
you're the one sitting next to the elevator buttons, right?
Yeah, yeah. If you're the one on the buttons, you know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
And a lot of these things, it's not like you have to do it, but like if you don't do it, you'll get like some side eye, you know what I mean? Like people won't complain to your face. They'll be like, oh man, this guy, I don't know about him. He doesn't hold the elevator open for me when I get out.
Homie has no manners.
Yeah. Where did they learn you, you dumb bastard? No.
Where did they learn you?
Yeah. But and
so it's pretty much just like,
yeah.
So it's not something that you could really read about, or do you think that information was available somewhere?
I don't know, man. Maybe. I didn't look for it, but then you wouldn't really think to look for it,
Yeah, exactly.
And then that's like the thing too, is you show up here and like, they're just like, hey, I got you a plane ticket. Be at the airport at this time. Bring your things. And then like you get off the plane, like, welcome to Japan. We're going to take you to a hotel. And then like you drop all your stuff and you pass out. They're like, good morning. Now we're going to take you to your apartment. Sign all this stuff. It's like, all right, now I'll be at work by 1 p.m. I'm like, okay. So it's like you've been traveling for a long time and like you're tired. Kind of like you get a little bit of culture shock, like just taking it all in. But yeah, that was definitely, I think, one of the challenges is like, that's something I learned in my martial arts class. And I guess this is like just kind of how things in Japan are kind of done in general. And it's like, okay, if you're the new guy, just like hang out in the back, like shut up, don't say nothing, just listen, just hang out in the back and listen and like kind of learn from our example, and like if you don't see somebody else doing something, then you probably shouldn't do it either,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very strange. Yeah.
How long did it take for you to get used to the money?
Not too long, man. I feel like because I did the study abroad gig out here, but the thing that killed me when I first got here was like how much money I was spending. That's like what took me a while to get used to, because I was the first group from my school to study at the school I went to, so we didn't have a lot of information, so I was like, oh man, I hope I can work part-time, because I have like a little bit of money saved up, not a lot. I'd like to travel some, and if I can work part-time, that'll like pay for my food, and then I'll be good, I'll be golden. But that wasn't the case. But yeah, anyway, so like, in Japan, you have the 1 yen coin, like 5 yen, 10 yen, 50 yen, 100 yen, 500 yen. Those are all coins, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's roughly like 100 yen to $1. It's like a $5 coin. And then the smallest bill is like 1,000 yen, then like 5,000, then it's 10,000. And so everywhere I went, I was just dropping bills, right? Just paying with 1,000 yen bills. I'm like, here you go. I'm like, damn, what happened to all my money? I don't have any more bills left. And then I reach in my pocket and pull out all my change. I got like $200 in coins, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you come to Japan, spend those coins. Like if you run out of bills and you keep hitting the ATM, you're just gonna end up with like $200 in coins when you're about to leave.
Dude, I tell you one thing though.
Yeah.
I am so happy that Vietnam does not use coins.
Right? Yeah, man.
It's just nice just to mess with the bills. I remember the last time I went back home to America, and then I was like, oh man, I forgot that feeling of having change in my pockets, man.
Yeah.
It's kind of annoying.
Yeah. Or in America now, they're just like, you use cash? How barbaric of you.
I always remember I remember when I first went to got back home, I went to In-N-Out, and with that $100 bill, just like, dude, like, we can't take this. I'm like, oh crap, dude, like, that's right.
Yeah.
You don't see $100 bills, but it's like, it's weird because when travelers travel, they just whip out bills, like $100 bills. It's like, dang, like even like it's like from our perspective, it should be, oh, it's $100 bill. What's up? But
yeah,
it's like, oh, I can't take that.
Yeah.
What? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, and that's the thing too, man. Japan, like, a lot of places are starting to take credit cards that didn't, but you can spend cash pretty much anywhere, like no problem. Like, I'm like, hey, I'm about to go to this party, and I need some change because we're about to pay like exact when we split the bill. Like, I'm just gonna go to McDonald's and get like a double cheeseburger, drop this hundo, get some change. You know,
Hmm.
like no problem, man.
I think like for Vietnam, it's because the highest bill is only about like 22 dollars USD value. So
Yeah,
it's really never an issue unless you're buying like a cup of coffee that costs like 5,000 and all you have is 500. They're like, yeah, I can't break that for you. But
yeah.
usually it's like most places could at least accept that. So it's
Yeah,
not really like
yeah,
a major issue because it's only 500,000. Like $22. So, but that is
yeah,
the
yeah.
annoying part is when you try to like go somewhere
Hmm.
when you know it's gonna cost money and you use cash and you're just having just like stacks in your pocket
Yeah.
because the bill is just like, dude, it's only $22 per bill, and then have just like 400 or something. It's like, ah, crap.
Well, man, like I had that little money clip like I got in Mexico. Like I think, yeah, the last time, not the last time. I don't know. One time I came to visit you in Vietnam, and like having so many bills, like stretched out the money clip. I had to like put some pliers on it, like clamp it back down.
I remember.
Yeah, man. It's big balling, dude.
Yeah.
Making it rain in that piece.
Any other obstacles I'm trying to think of?
Yeah.
Can you think of anything else? So it sounds like your transition was like pretty smooth.
It was smooth, man. Like, like I said, the rules that I had like in my karate dojos are like stricter than a lot of the rules in some of the workplaces out here, you know?
Yeah. So pretty much the challenging part was to just understand like the culture mindset of like the simple things you said, like opening the door, the elevator, so just all the manners and stuff. Right?
Yeah, the manners, and then kind of adjusting to like the work-life balance of Japan. Like when I was a student, I had a lot of free time and like no money. And now I have I have more money, but like not as much free time.
Yeah.
And then like I call it kind of like a Japanese suggestion. Somebody's like, hey, David, it'd be really nice if you did this, or if, your team of teachers could come and do this. It'd be really cool. And it's basically like, you better do that shit, man. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. I can think about one more thing.
Yeah.
Anything that involves Vietnamese people being patient, oh my God, dude. Like waiting in line anywhere.
Yeah.
If you're just like American people where it's like, okay, let's just be courteous. I came first and then blah, blah, blah. Nope. Like they will cut you off, and like if you give them if you go to the checkout counter, if you leave like 2 inches, someone's just gonna throw their stuff and just like boom, I'm next.
Yep. Yeah.
It's like that took a while because I remember even my wife when I was driving, I just let people pass. Like I just whatever. She's like, you gotta drive like a dick out here to get anywhere.
Yeah.
You gotta be an asshole because otherwise people will just walk all over you. It's like, no, I'm good. I just keep my thing. And then after like a month or like probably a month, I was like, I gotta just turn on the dick mode too when it comes to certain things because it just never get done,
Yeah.
So that took me a while. That's just like a personal thing for me.
Yeah.
Like I'm used to being patient and just like wait.
Mm-hmm.
But nope, you gotta turn the dick mode on at certain times. It's funny because Vietnamese people are so nice to you in general, but when it comes to like waiting and being patient, oh my God, they're just pricks.
Yeah. And like that's the thing, man. Like some people say like, oh my God, it's so rude, but it's like, man, that's just the culture. Not rude at all. It's like if it's open, I'm taking it. You snooze, you lose. It's mine, player. How about that?
Exactly.
All right, man. I think that's a good place to leave it for now, dude.
Nice,
Running out of time here. So
okay.
Yeah, that'll do it for this episode in Dudes in Asia. Hope you had as good a time as we did.
Oh yeah, we sure did. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Be sure to check out our blog at dudesinasia.blogspot.com or hit us up on Facebook at facebook.com/dudesinasia.
Yeah, and if you want to follow me on Twitter, search for @DavidHader. So that's @DAVID, the letter H, 8, the letter R. So that'll do it. Peace out.
Peace out, y'all.